stop that. Hello, everyone. This is Hat, and welcome to Hat's Guerrilla News, live stream 3/29/2018, Thursday, if you will. This is a makeup. Um, this is a makeup live stream because of the mistake I made earlier in the week when I announced the Wednesday live stream and put the day as Thursday. I apologize for that. That was stupid. Um, it shows what happens when you're in a rush. I was trying to get the trailer out as soon as I could, and I blew it. So I had the live stream yesterday, and I'm having the one today. So if you got confused, either way, I, I'm trying to make up for it. Now, yesterday's was a 3 hour stream about a video, I should say, about an article that appeared in the National Review regarding the Trump Russia collusion story. It is an exhaustive article. I don't mean exhaustive, although it will take you a while to read it. I highly recommend you check that video out. That was yesterday's live stream. Today, however, we're going to be going over YouTube's new terms of service for gun channels, firearms and firearms-related channels, what we can do to help support those channels in the perhaps brief period of time they're still going to be around, and things we can do to help the gun industry in general. And what, at the end, I will wrap it up with what I think this means for YouTube as a whole. WHOLE. So let's get right into it. First off, we should read the new terms of service policy. So I have it right here. Policies on content featuring firearms. YouTube prohibits certain kinds of content featuring firearms. Specifically, we don't allow content that intends to sell firearms or certain firearms accessories through direct sales, ergo private sales by individuals, or links to sites that sell these items. These accessories include, but may not be limited to, accessories that enable a firearm to simulate automatic fire or convert a firearm to automatic fire, ergo bump stocks, Gatling triggers, drop-in auto-sears, conversion kits. I believe that should have been IE right there. And high-capacity magazines, i.e. magazines or belts carrying more than 30 rounds. I think I was wrong about that. Carrying more than 30 rounds. I find that interesting because normally when you're trying to restrict any kind of gun-related items, you'll look at the magazine capacity and try to limit it to 10 rounds. I think they saw that that would basically completely eliminate every channel that tried to show a firearm that had a normal magazine. I don't like high capacity. A normal magazine is what the firearm was designed around, and AR-15s or AK-47s, for instance, those are 30-round magazines. They do come with 10 and the odd 20, but the standard is the 30-round magazine. I digress. Back to the thing. Provides instructions on manufacturing a firearm, ammunition, we'll get to that, high-capacity magazine. I don't know anyone that knows how to manufacture a magazine. Homemade silencers, suppressors, yeah, or certain firearms accessories such as those listed above, such as. That leaves an entire category or categories of these items that they're not specifying. So basically, they can do anything they want. They're YouTube. Why should we be surprised? This also includes instructions on how to convert a firearm to automatic or simulated automatic firing capabilities. Okay, automatic, that's been illegal since the Gun Control Act the Firearms Act of 1986, I believe it was, when it was made illegal to manufacture or, let me see, basically manufacture any new automatic weapons in the United States. There were things called conversion kits, where it was basically a new bolt and a new trigger assembly that you could drop in to an AR-15 and turn it into an M16. I have a buddy who used to sell those kits legally. He would buy the parts individually, package them up, and then sell them online or at gun shows. Totally legal until 1986. He would get visited by the ATF regularly, even though he wasn't breaking any laws, because they were treating him as a manufacturer. He had the parts, so he could assemble a firearm if he had the rest of the firearm available. So they would visit him all the time. It's a pain in the butt, but I can kind of see the reasoning behind it. Personally, I have no use for the ATF, but that's a whole nother video. And simulated automatic firing capabilities, that is bump stocking. Now remember, you have the bump stock, that is the physical item that you place on the firearm, that it's literally the butt of the firearm with a spring. And when you shoot, the recoil forces the firearm back, and then the spring forces it back forward. So when it's returning forward, if you keep your finger in the same position near the trigger, then the trigger will hit your finger and trip. So that back and forth motion is basically resetting the trigger against your finger every time. That's why bump firing works. There are other ways to bump fire. For instance, you can just stick your thumb through the belt loop of your pants on the side, hold the firearm at your hip, and then use that thumb hold as a way to arrest the movement of your hand and your finger, and let the firearm bounce against your finger, and you get the same effect. Bump stocks, however, allow you to aim fire within a certain limitation, because automatic fire is very difficult to aim. That's why the military no longer uses personal firearms like the M4. They no longer use the M16. The M4 is a shortened M16. But the M4 does not have automatic fire anymore. It is safety, which means it can fire, single round fire, which is semi-auto, as we all know so well by now, and then 3-round burst or select fire. That trio of things is known as select fire, excuse me. And that select fire is what makes something into a military weapon. So now you have that. So this right here basically screws every channel that I'm going to list in this video. They can't do one thing, all except one, to stay on the air. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we'll get to that. First, let's look at something that I thought of when I first heard this terms of service come out. In fact, when I've heard all of these other terms of services come out that have limited, quote-unquote, conspiracy theories, or not allowing you to show pictures of war zones when you do a news story about Syria. Insane things like that. It's called an ex post facto law. Now, obviously, YouTube is not providing criminal statutes or civil statutes. They're a private company, and they're providing rules of behavior or terms of service. But they are creating ex post facto laws in that regard because, as it says here, an ex post facto law, or from the Latin, meaning out of the aftermath, is a law that retroactively changes the legal consequences or status of actions that were committed or relationships that existed before the enactment of the law. So, this is an example from my 6th grade civics book. I remember it all too well. You have a broken TV set, and you put it on the curb to be picked up by the garbage man in a couple days. In the interim period, your local city council passes an ordinance that bans putting TVs out on the curb to be picked up by the trash man. And you're arrested or cited for doing that. You did it before the law took effect, but they're saying after the law took effect, since it's on the books, you're breaking the law. That's an ex post facto situation. That is illegal in the United States Constitution. I believe it's Section 2 and Section 4. You can look it up to call me on that if you like. So, YouTube is taking these channels, which were perfectly within the terms of service, and we're doing very well. As you will see, a number of these channels have well over thousands and thousands of subscribers. Some have millions. But they're now saying, okay, that's bad. You can't do that. And since you're doing it, we're going to kick you off YouTube unless you change every aspect of your channel. In other words, gut it to the point where it no longer is viable. Now remember, what I read in that terms of service, that's a guideline. They can still do anything they want, as you've seen with YouTube over and over again. This is just the beginning, trust me. Now, there have been a number of articles, some just about the change and some very critical of the change. I really didn't find any in my DuckDuckGo search that showed any articles that were favorable of this. Although I could have probably dug further and looked for Vox or Politico or something like that. But I don't think they covered it, to be honest. So here we have one from Bloomberg Technology. YouTube bans firearms demo videos entering the gun control debate. Okay, that's a fairly small representation of what the TOS has actually done, but it's their headline. But right there, entering the gun control debate. Why does YouTube need to enter the gun control debate? There are hundreds, if not thousands, of channels already involved in the gun control debate. Some for, some against, and some in the middle. I did a video on letters I wrote to my congressmen and senators about how I felt regarding the upcoming gun control legislation that was going to be included in the omnibus package. And I made my feelings plainly, I made my positions, not feelings, my positions well known. One of them I actually changed after having an interaction with a viewer on the first video. I wrote my people back and said, hey, someone told me that I was wrong, and I've changed my mind, and here's why, and here's how. So, moving on. Gun rights group slam new YouTube anti-gun policy. YouTube is now in the business of political posturing and censorship. Totally true. From The Blaze. Gun rights advocates blast new YouTube policy of censoring videos showing legal gun activity. That's the operative phrase right there. Legal gun activity. None of these channels are showing anything that breaks the law. Not one. YouTube doesn't care. And here's one from the Daily Caller. I'll read a little of this. YouTube's new gun policy should have you concerned. YouTube's announcement this week of the new firearms content policy is troubling. We suspect it will be interpreted to block much more content than the stated goal of firearms and certain accessory sales. Especially worrisome is the potential for blocking educational content that serves an instructional and skill-building purpose. YouTube's policy announcement has also served to invite political activists to flood their review staff with complaints about any video to which they may proffer manufactured outrage. And we all know about mass flagging. So these channels are already, or I should say have already, been under attack for ages and ages by these nuts, by these absolute pearl-clutching, delusional idiots. They're thinking they're making change. And in fact, they're just making themselves known to be insane retards. But this article pretty well sums it up. There's more to it. I highly recommend you read it. Everything in this video is linked in the description. That'll be up once this posts. So please peruse at your leisure. Now here's someone with a very, very interesting solution to the upcoming YouTube ban. And there will be bans. These channels are not going to be able to change enough to fit inside this new TOS. Gun channel moves to Pornhub after YouTube gun video ban. Now, I will say these channels have been undergoing mass demonetization for a long time. A long time. There are some ads that are showing up now, but it's a moot point because these channels are going to be gone. All right, back to the article. In-Range TV cites new YouTube policy cracking down on gun videos as reason for move. And so I'll read a little of this. A channel devoted to firearms is moving its videos to adult content site Pornhub. In-Range TV announced its move to the popular porn streaming site after YouTube said Monday it would begin cracking down on gun videos posted to its site. The new policy means people will no longer be able to watch or post videos that demonstrate how to assemble guns or that sell certain gun-related accessories, or also link to firearms or ammunition sellers. The channel, which showcases gun reviews and accessories, said in a Facebook post Wednesday it's decentralizing its video content across multiple delivery networks. YouTube's newly released vague and one-sided firearms policy makes it abundantly clear that YouTube cannot be counted upon to be a safe harbor for a wide variety of views and subject matter, In-Range TV wrote. Pornhub has a history of being a proactive voice in the online community, as well as operating a resilient and robust video streaming platform. And that's true. From what I've heard, I mean, I would never go to Pornhub. Why would I? I'm a happily married man in his 50s. I didn't say any of that. Never mind. So what's next? Firearm reloading channels. I think I went one too far here. Here we go. Nope. There are... Let me create a new tab here because I need to get this right. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Reloading channels. Ammunition reloading is a very popular activity among high-end shooters. I shouldn't even say high-end shooters. Among shooters who like to shoot a lot. It's fun. It's relaxing. It's exacting. And it creates rounds, cartridges, that are suited to that particular firearm. You can buy factory ammo that works, but you can take the right amount of powder, the right primer, the right bullet, put that all together in a brass case, and you'll make a cartridge that works specifically for your firearm, specifically for your gun. More accurate, easier to shoot, cheaper, usually by at least half. People will get into reloading and they'll say, I'm getting into it because I can make my ammunition less expensively than I would if I bought it retail. That's true, but you're not going to save any money. There's a fairly, I shouldn't say high, but a fairly robust buy-in for reloading. You need the machinery, like a powder dispenser. You need the press, which allows you to seat the primer and seat the bullet, put the powder in the case, not in that order, of course. You need supplies. You need gunpowder. You need bullets. You need primers. You need cases. And cases are usually the most expensive of those. In my ammunition reloading that I do, and I reload for about 8 or 9 calibers, mainly pistol, but I think the cases probably add about 2/3 of the cost to the round, if not more. But there are ways to get cheaper cases, so you can save even more money if you like. Now let's look at this page here and these reloading channels, and all I did was search reloading channels on YouTube. I didn't do anything, very expansive. And we've got Johnny's Reloading Bench, 25,000 subscribers. High Boy Reloading, 11,500 subscribers. Gavin Tube, 50,000. Ammo Smith Reloading, 26,000. The low end here, 2,400 for Elsters. These channels have a good number of subscribers. Remember, the vast majority of YouTube channels don't even have 100 subscribers. This channel doesn't have 100 subscribers. So I'm in the huge lump of people who have very small YouTube channels. And these are not small channels. So YouTube is playing with fire when they cancel these channels, and I'll talk about that at the end. So let's look at Johnny's Reloading Bench. It's a well-designed site. He has quite a few videos, and he's been very active. These are the most recent ones. Let me go back to the top. Are just from a couple days ago. In fact, the 224 Valkyrie that's listed here is becoming an extremely popular long-distance round. It may beat out the 308 and the 6.5 Creedmoor. We'll see, but right now it's literally a hot round. But Johnny doesn't have any ads that I could find on his videos. There may be some, but right now I couldn't find any out of the several that I looked at. He has a Facebook presence, he has an Instagram presence, and he has a Twitter presence. He doesn't have any retail or accessory presence. So when this ban hits, he's got nothing to fall back on. He's gone, as are these other channels. They've got nowhere to go. So that's for YouTube. Literally, I shouldn't say literally, excuse me, that word's used wrong way too often. But that's YouTube shooting itself in the foot, if I may be figurative. So what's next? Firearms channels. This would be about channels related to guns and gun accessories. And as you can see, there are some very well subscribed channels here. Military Arms channel, 700,000 subscribers. Learning Firearms, almost 13,000. 654,000, 419,000. As you can see, I'm subscribed to all of these. 231,000, 126,000. It goes on and on. There are very few, if any, decent firearm channels that have fewer than 5,000 subscribers. And there are a large number of firearm channels as well. There should be. I mean, look at the results right here. 39,500 results just for firearms channels. That's a lot of hits. And again, we'll get into why this is bad at the end. So let's talk about some of those channels specifically. One of the first I subscribed to is this gentleman right here, Such00. He just goes by Such on his channel. Such is an incredibly accurate and well-versed shooter. His gun reviews are spot on, very entertaining, and very informative. He also uses links and sponsorships by such places as Freedom Munitions and a couple other things we'll see in a moment. But this channel cannot survive. He also shows breakdowns and reassemblies of these firearms when he does his reviews, as any decent reviewer would do. He's showing you the parts, he's showing you the guts, and he's showing you what you would basically do to disassemble to clean and then reassemble to use it again. His videos, they're all going to be gone. All of them. And without videos, you don't have a channel. So, what else does he have as a revenue stream? Well, he has a Patreon page, a very, I should say, well-populated Patreon page with a little over 1,400 patrons. Good for him. He also has a Teespring outlet. His sign-off for his videos is God Bless America and Long Live the Republic. And here's his t-shirt. There is also this one right here, which is just the Such 00 logo set up. What else? Freedom Munitions, as I mentioned before. If you buy through Such's link, you get a 5% discount on munitions. 5% means a lot. You could spend $350 for a case of 45 ACP ammo, for instance, for a pistol. 5% off of that, that's healthy. That's healthy. That helps. Every little bit helps. There's another site that we'll get to in a moment that has a 10% discount because they're a larger supplier or a larger advertise presence. Excuse me. But still, these things are important. Now here's goinggear.com. This is a outlet for all kinds of different outdoor survival and firearms accessories. This is how I came in to help Such. I needed a tactical light for my Glock 19, and I found this during one of his reviews, specifically the Olight Cree XPL HI weapon light. $80. I got 10% off by buying it through Such. My wife was happy. I'm happy because it's a decent light. It's not the most powerful light on the market, but it does the job. It lights up the room that I'm in and lets me see what I need to see when I need to see it. It's very easy to install. I have to take it off during the day because I don't have a holster that would allow me to put my firearm away with that light on it. I'm going to be upgrading to a new holster fairly soon. But this is a wonderful piece of kit, and I never would have known about it had it not been for Such's video. I was in the market for one. He caught me at exactly the right time and exactly the right price point. The nearest light that, as far as expense and function, to the Olight is $125. I don't think my wife would have appreciated that. So, Such does important things for the gun community. He's going to be gone. So what can you do? You could put a couple bucks in his Patreon page because he's certainly not getting any advertising revenue from his videos. You could buy a t-shirt. This is a really cool t-shirt, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is not a subversive or regressive or any kind of statement on that shirt. Everyone should have one of those, in my opinion. Maybe you don't have a firearm, but you know someone who does. Buy them some ammunition through Such. Just buy them a box of ammo. 20 bucks. Or 15 bucks for some others with a 5% discount. Turn them on to Freedom Munitions, and then they'll buy through them and say, Such sent me. In your order form, that's usually a thing for notes, and just put in there, Such sent me. That'll let them know that they have a very strong presence through Such and that they need to support him however they can. And we already discussed goinggear.com. So there are a number of ways, inexpensively, that you can support people like Such. Who's next? Military Arms Channel, or MAC. This is an incredible channel if you're at all interested in firearms that have served in the military. He does a lot of reviews about, say, Czech handguns that are very popular in Europe. The CZ is also very popular in the United States because of its caliber. It shoots a very interesting round. He does things right here, as you can see, about the M1 carbine, a firearm that is incredibly fun to shoot and not expensive to shoot, not expensive to own, and it was used by the U.S. military in World War II, mainly for rear echelon troops like radio operators and hospital staff, things like that. People who needed a rifle but didn't need to carry a big battle rifle, like the M1 Garand, which I have shot as well. The main person in this channel, whose first name I've suddenly forgotten, is incredibly knowledgeable, and he has saved me a great deal of money. He did a video about something known as the Century Arms AK-47 knockoff. Century Arms has a bit of a back and forth reputation in the firearms community. Their fit and finish is not all that good, but then again, it's an AK-47. They're not show ponies to begin with. They're not supposed to be sleek and fit and pretty like an AR-15. They're rough around the edges. They fire through anything you can throw at them. Snow, mud, dirt, sand. Off they go. So they're a battle weapon, you know. It's interesting. The AK-47 is, as far as I know, the only formerly automatic weapon in a firearm, excuse me, that was in military service that kept its name when it came into the civilian market as a semi-auto. Think of the AR-15. The AR-15 was first, Armalite rifle. The AR-15 was first, and the M16, the government, Army, and other military branches' main battle firearm, came after. You need to remember that. The AR-15 was first. The civilian market was first. Sporting rifle. Then came the military application. But you'll learn about these things and others on the Military Arms channel, but it's going to be gone. You can't keep it going. So what can you do to help out the people behind the Military Arms channel? Because remember, it's not just the presenters. You've got cameramen, you've got audio people. Some of them have editors to help with the videos. These could be big productions, but they're quality work. Watch the videos, a video at least, from any of the channels I'm going to have in the description. You'll learn something, and in some of them, you'll have some fun. So what can you do to help Military Arms channel? They have a Patreon, and as you can see, it's even more robust than Such's. But how much of that is going to still be around when they lose their YouTube channel? Because they are going to lose it. Are people going to pull out? A lot are. A lot are. What happens then? Quality of the videos goes down. You can't get as many firearms to review. You can't do as detailed of a presentation as you may have before. And where are you going to do it? Well, we'll get to that near the end. So what else can you do for the Mac? They have an outlet through forgedfromfreedom.com, which is an outlet for apparel, firearm-related apparel, and other things. I bought patches from Freedom, Forged from Freedom, through Mac. And what did I get? I hate when it does that. I got the Sic Semper Tyrannus patch, which goes on one of my coats, one of my Beretta coats. And I also got the You Suck, Not Suitable for All Advertisers patch. In fact, I just bought that today. It wasn't up the first time I had looked. I think it was there before. I probably just missed it. But here's something you can do. Again, you may not want one of these. That's fine. You don't have to. But you know someone who does. You absolutely know someone who does. If their birthday's coming up, or even if you want to get something for Christmas, or Veterans Day, if the person you know served in the military. A gift card. You get a $10 gift card. Gotta take a drink. My mouth gets very dry. This is Dark Magic by Green Mountain Coffee. Great stuff. But you can get a gift card for $10. That's not hard. Anyone would be able to use it. Anyone with who would want not even a patch. Let's say they wanted a something in their accessories line. You've got men's clothing, lots of t-shirts. Let's go to the end. We've got sweatshirts, hoodies right here, and some of these are very non-confrontational, like the Thomas Paine hoodie right here. I prefer peace. I prefer peace, but if trouble must come, let it come in my time, so my children can live in peace. You can wear that anywhere. Anywhere. And if someone gives you crap about it, then they're not worth talking to. So, there's another way to help Mac. So now Louder with Crowder. You may know if you watched my video about 5 channels that were going to get banned from YouTube or at least demonetized because of their conservative views, I featured Louder with Crowder and Steven Crowder in one of those pieces on the video. Why is he in a video about gun sites? Because he's sponsored by Walther. Walther Firearms is a incredibly good, not good, that's a very overused word, an incredibly reliable, well-priced, well-manufactured firearm. In fact, I am going to be doing something with Walther very soon. I'll just tell you right now. I own 2 Colt Series 70 45 ACP pistols. You can't get those anymore. They have moved up in series since the 70s. Both of mine were made in, I think, 77. Not too far apart, actually, even though they're different models. And one of them is very valuable. It was worked on by someone who was Gunsmith of the Year in 2005. It is the perfect pistol. But I've decided it's too expensive to carry. I can't afford to have to throw a pistol of this, caliber, to the ground and scratch it to shit. Sorry, scratch it to hell. Because the cops are yelling at me to put it down. I need something that's less expensive, but as reliable and as powerful. So I needed another 45 ACP handgun. Because of Crowder's sponsorship by Walther and his description of the Walther product, I looked into one of their pistols very deeply. And I came up with the Walther PPQ M2 in 45 ACP, like my 2 Colts. This is an amazing pistol. It has the best trigger on the market for a pistol of its type. It is immensely reliable. The Military Arms Channel did a review of it. You could dunk it in water till the bubbles stop coming up, pick it up, and fire 10 rounds immediately. You could do the same thing by putting sand on it, by putting mud on it, and by putting dirt on it. The only time it failed was if you put it in water, then dirt, then sand, then mud, in that order, and fired each time. As it got more and more dirty, debris would go into the mouth of the pistol, which opens up each time you fire. The brass, from the expended cartridge comes out, and so that ejection port is open. And when that slams back against the recoil stop, dirt and mud and such falls in. And then when the pistol tries to rechamber the next round, as the slide comes forward, you get a jam because there's dirt lodged in around the case or between the front of the slide and the mouth of the chamber. And that means it's out of battery, and you cannot fire a semi-automatic firearm if it's out of battery, which basically means it's not closed all the way. But it's incredibly reliable. It's as reliable as the Glock, and I am wearing a Glock 19 right now, which I love. But I wanted a 45 ACP in a cross-draw holster. I was carrying my Colt Combat Commander in that position, but I decided I was going to trade it in for a Walther. Specifically, the Walther, because of it's sponsoring Crowder. So how else can you help Steven Crowder? You've got a few options. There's louderwithcrowder.com. Go there, read, click on the ads, subscribe to the podcast. Just help out that way. Very simple, takes none of your time. Or you can join the Mug Club. The Mug Club is basically a subscription, but not only to Steven Crowder and Louder with Crowder, but also they're a host of other presenters on CRTV, which stands for Conservative Review Television. It has um, the oh gosh, what's his first name? Bill, I believe, from Duck Dynasty, the gentleman who got kicked off the show when he quoted the Bible, and everybody picked out the one part that talked about homosexuals, even though there was another 90% of it that dealt with people who were bad and illegal. And that was that one little bit got him kicked off the show. So now he has his own show on CRTV. Roaming Millennial has her own show on CRTV. So it's not just old conservatives. There's a lot of young people on there as well. So I highly recommend it. Now, if you join Louder with Crowder, you get this incredible mug. It is really, really something. It's hand etched. It's not as thick of a mug as I would like. I have one that's thicker and keeps my coffee warmer longer, or warm longer, I should say. But if you really want to keep it going, you need a Yeti or the Leftist Tears tumbler from the Daily Wire. But that's a whole nother video as well. So you can join the Mug Club. And as you see here, it's, where's the price? Oh, right here. $99 per year. But if you're military, a veteran, or a student, and you can show your ID from those places, it's $69 for a year. And you get the mug, and you get CRTV, which is available on Apple TV. I know for a fact. We have it on ours. I believe it's also available on the Fire Stick and Chromecast, but you'd have to check just to make sure. But so there's that. Now again, he either ditches Walther as a sponsor, a brand new sponsor, just a few months old, a sponsor that got me to want to buy one of their firearms through Crowder. And he's going to lose that. Is it going to kill his show? No. But it's not fair. He should not have to dump a sponsor just because YouTube has decided that guns are icky. He'll probably come through okay. I'm sure he will come through okay because he's gaining subscribers left and right. But remember, his YouTube channel has snippets of his main show on CRTV. Thursday's show is free for YouTube. But you really need to be on CRTV because the content is amazing. But again, there are small ways, clicking on ads, that you can support Crowder. But it's just not fair. And I can't wait to get my Walther. I absolutely can't wait. So as I was talking about, here's CRTV. You've got Steve Deese, Levin TV, Mark Levin, Gavin McInnes. I'm not a Gavin McInnes fan personally. He did a video on Gamergate that I found incredibly insulting, very lowbrow, and very stupid. So I really don't watch him. But people like him. Al Stuckey, Andrew Wilkow, Phil, I beg your pardon, Phil, and with a very good show called In the Woods. It's really enjoyable, especially if you like someone who is a straight up Christian. He has a lot of very good points to make. And just a couple others, as I mentioned, Mark Levin and Louder with Crowder. So we'll go on from here. Crowder also has a t-shirt, hat, and hoodie shop. And you can see here, they are very, very pointed. But if you've ever seen one of his Change My Mind episodes, which I highly recommend, you've got to look them up. They are amazing. And these shirts are direct results of those. Anyone would want a pair of Ranger panties. An excellent gift for the active guy in your, or girl, in your family or friend list. Even just a sticker, a $5 sticker. In fact, I'm going to buy one of those when we're done. I had not seen that sticker before now. I'm definitely getting one. So we talked about the Walther. So here's the last gun channel on the list that I'm going to talk about. And that's Iraq Veteran 8888 with Eric and Chad. There used to be a very, very smart and well-versed gentleman called Barry on the show, but he died a few years ago. I miss him terribly. Um, I came to the show after he had passed, and I did not know of that event. So I'm watching the videos in order through the back catalog, and then he's not there anymore. And they have a video about him passing under very sad circumstances. And it was heartbreaking. I felt like I had gotten to know him. And I have listened to Eric and Chad talk not only about guns, but about politics. They have very strong views on how gun control should not be allowed to happen. Um, they are NRA members, but they are not happy with the NRA right now because of the gun stock ban, bump stock ban, excuse me, and their position on the NICS background checks. Expansion, the fixed NICS that just came through, which, if you're not aware, will make it profitable for government agencies to report people to the NICS system. They'll actually be paid money for each person they put into the National Instant Criminal Background Check. So they have incentive to put in people who really shouldn't be in there. People with, say, a well-controlled mental illness. I know people with bipolar who just take one lithium a day and they're perfectly fine. You wouldn't know that they were sick at all. But with the new expanded NICS system, someone could say, well, this guy has a mental illness, and I'm going to get $50 for putting him in. He's in. She's in. Veterans, people who may have obsessive compulsive disorder or PTSD, people who would benefit from firearms, from the discipline that comes with firearms. In fact, I did a video on this, busting a hole in Farron Cousins, who is on the Ring of Fire, who is basically the Ring of Fire except for Palantanio, I believe, the lawyer, who is pretty good, actually. But Farron Cousins is a complete idiot. And in one shot, I blew him out of the water. I extinguished his fire when it came to the last time the mental health / gun control issue came up, which was last year when Trump signed a piece of legislation that killed an Obama law that allowed anyone who was, quote unquote, unable to manage their affairs and was on Social Security disability to not only be not allowed to own a firearm, but to have their firearms taken away without due process. Farron Cousins made a complete straw man argument about what that meant. And then he started to go on and talk about how much he did not know about the NRA, and I laid him to waste. Please look for that video. I'll try to remember to include it in the description for this. It's called The Stupid It Burns, and it's on the AHNC, All Hat No Cattle channel. I believe I also moved it over to here on Guerrilla News. So what can you do for Iraq Veteran 8888? They're going to lose 1.7 million subscribers. They're going to lose this channel because not only do they do gun reviews and ammunition reviews, but they also show assembly or disassembly and assembly of firearms. I have learned so much about putting firearms together after taking them apart through this channel. They're amazing. I learned how to take a 100-year-old rifle made by the English that had been stored in the palace in Thailand, the royal palace in Thailand, in their armory. It was 100 years old, and it was absolutely soaked in something called cosmoline, which is a preservative. The stuff is like molasses and mud combined, And this particular type of cosmoline they used had buffalo fat mixed in with it, water buffalo fat. So not only was it goopy, it was kind of icky. But he cleaned that thing down to the metal, to the wood, brought it back, fired it. It was impeccable. You're not going to get that anymore. This channel's going to be gone. So what have they got going for them after the channel's gone? Well, they also have a Patreon. Now it's kind of funny. They've got they have basically a sixth of the number of Patreons that Military Arms Channel has, even though they have many more followers. So that's kind of funny. They do have a few more than Such, but still. 1,214 is not a number to sneeze at, of course. But how many of those are they going to keep once YouTube deletes their channel? Not many. What else? There is IraqVeteran8888.com. And they have a number of things that you can do. You can subscribe, shirts and patches, but this is kind of the most neat thing, man cans. A man can is it's a container that has different gun-related items in it, and even giveaways. Sometimes you will actually win a gun when you buy a man can. I was going to buy one this month, but unfortunately, it's for shotguns, and both of my shotguns are antiques. I do not shoot them. They are preserved, not in cosmoline, and something much more friendly than that. But I will not put anything on them. So this month's man can is out of the picture. By the way, if you want something else associated with men, and they do have female crates, by the way, every so often. They announce the new ones on the 15th of each month. But there is something called the Man Crate. I got one for Valentine's Day. Look them up. They are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Here's something you need to know about them. They come in a foot by foot by foot wooden crate. Not a box, a crate. And with that crate comes a personalized crowbar. Here's mine. Man crate. You use this to open the box. Now, on their website, they have a FAQ. And the FAQ asks, or the question in the FAQ is a question. I'm having trouble opening my man crate. What do I do? The answer? Try harder. What's not good about that? Something to keep in mind. But I digress. So, aside from the man cans, they also have a store like Crowder does, like Such does, and they have a number of very interesting T-shirts. And here's their view of the NRA, just to give you an idea of where they're at. Not real activists. Like I say, they're members, but they don't necessarily agree with where they're going most of the time. I'm a lifetime member of the NRA, and I'll get into that in a minute. And now, what about alternatives for these channels? Do they have a safe haven somewhere? Yes. InRange TV went to Pornhub. There is also Full 30. I can't highlight it. Full30.com is a platform for all creators. It was primarily for firearms, but now is trying to become a YouTube competitor. And I think they have a pretty good chance of it. I'm going to see if I can't start putting my videos on there as well. So, we were looking at Such before. Here's Such. Iraq veteran 8888. Right here. So they're listed. Now look at the subscribers here. They've got almost 1,400 videos, but they've only got about 21,000 subscribers. They have 1.7 million on YouTube. So while they have a separate platform to go to, the carryover is minimal. Absolutely minimal. So they're going to have to start all over again. A lot of people don't even know about Full 30. They're going to have to find it somehow. But when these channels are deleted, how are they going to get the message out? They're going to be able to make a couple videos right now and say, hey, we're on full30.com. Come there, subscribe, help us out. But as you know from other YouTube channels, if you create a second channel, your crossover audience isn't always very good. Take me, for example. I've had AHNC All Hat No Cattle since August of 2016. It now has just under 2,500 subscribers, and I'm very proud of that. I'm extremely proud of that. I never expected to get that many subscribers. When I broke 100, I was giddy. But this channel started out with 25 subscribers. I advertised this channel on AHNC All Hat No Cattle, but my audience on that is basically 73% female. This is not necessarily female-friendly content. I'm not saying that women don't like news. I'm not saying that at all. But obviously, I did not get any kind of crossover to speak of. Some of my diehard regulars came over, and I adore them for that. They are my favorite people in the world. I'm not saying that the people who did come over don't still have a lot of respect for me, because they do. They've helped me along. They've made my channel something to look for. But this channel is going to be an uphill battle because there's no carryover. So again, you go from 1.7 million subscribers to 20,711. And they've got almost 1,400 videos. So it's not like the content isn't there. So the last one we'll look up is Mac. Hard to... I'm wearing these sunglasses because I just had my eyes dilated at the optometrist, and I can't look at the screen without my eyes burning out. They're still pretty wide open. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. I apologize. So anyway, military arms. Military arms. Here they are. Military arms channel. So the three channels we've looked at are here. Yeah, I'm going to look up Crowder just for grins. I wouldn't believe he's here, but Stephen. No. Let's look up louder. No. Okay. That was a long shot. But again, I'm going to try and get on there with both of my channels. See what happens. Okay, so that's it for the video channels. What else can you do aside from trying to support these people directly? Or indirectly through things like Freedom Munitions or grab gear. You can join a firearms association. The two that most readily come to mind are the NRA, which I am again a life member. Don't agree with everything they've done in the past. I don't agree with what they're doing right now in certain aspects, but they are important. They are an important voice in the Second Amendment fight, and they need support, and I'm there for them. Now, let's keep in mind, the NRA is not just lobbying for Second Amendment rights. They also have educational programs. For instance, I learned how to reload through an NRA class. I also got a certificate as a range safety officer through the NRA, and I'm an NRA certified basic pistol instructor. I hope someday to move up the ladder in that regard as well. I have learned a ton through the NRA, and these classes are not expensive. They're very affordable, and they're very accessible. But it's not just the NRA. There's also Gun Owners of America. Now, I don't know a great deal about Gun Owners of America, so I'm not going to tell you everything about them. They have a number of tabs on their um, website, including end of the year reports and fact sheets and Congress, things that they're doing. So please look those up and decide if you like the GOA the GOA or not. I recently became a life member of the GOA. I'm paying in installments. Um, it's only $500 to become a life member. I believe I paid $650 during a fire sale for my NRA life membership, and that's also on a payment plan as well. So you don't have to shell out all that money at once. 20 bucks, 25 bucks a month, and you're in. There's also let me see if I can find it. I should have listed it before. There we go. The National Shooting Sports Foundation. This is a very worthwhile organization. I highly recommend you look into them. Their mission, right here, to promote, protect, and preserve hunting and the shooting sports, in addition to promoting gun ownership. It's a very simple mission statement, and I'm sure I'm going to be joining them very soon. So, what's going on now? Why do I care? Well, first of all, I enjoy this content. I have learned a great deal from both reloading channels and military arms, Iraq Veteran 88, Such, and other really great YouTube channels that I didn't cover. One, for instance, is Mike the Cop. Very great channel. Very, very funny guy, but extremely knowledgeable. And he gives you a good interface between what law enforcement thinks about the Second Amendment and how to carry a gun, etc., and how a civilian would think about it. And he melds those two together beautifully. Another link I'll try to put in the description. I just thought of him. But as I alluded to previously, YouTube is shooting themselves in the foot. As you saw from the numbers you could read as I panned down the screen, these are very popular channels. These are in the upper echelon. 5,000 subscribers. There are not a lot of channels with that level of subscriptions. And these channels are drawing a lot of views, a lot of views. And what does YouTube need in order to stay afloat, in order to become anywhere near not a complete money trap for Google and for Alphabet? They need views. They need advertisers to get in front of these videos, to get in the middle of these videos, to get on the end of these videos. They need these advertisers to be there so they can get money from them. Because remember, we're not paying YouTube anything. YouTube doesn't cost me a dime. I didn't buy my microphone or my camera or my mixer through YouTube. I don't get my internet through YouTube. It's free. So they're taking away views. They're taking away their bread and butter just because they want a virtue signal. They've already done it with conservative channels. I know that one of the reasons my channel has had a hard time growing, the Guerrilla News channel, is because it's not getting in the algorithm, because it's a conservative news channel. It goes against the YouTube party line. And these firearms channels, once they're deleted, that revenue's gone. Now, I did say that few of them have ad revenue at all, that they've mainly been demonetized, but that's YouTube's own doing. They didn't have to demonetize these channels. Again, it's pure virtue signaling. And it's making YouTube, which is the second most popular search engine in the world. You've got Google, then you've got YouTube. They're interconnected. They're married. They complement each other. But YouTube is a money sink. They're losing billions of dollars a year on YouTube. I believe at least $1 billion a year. I could be wrong. Hundreds of millions at the very least. And forgive me for not knowing that off the top of my head. I should have known that. But they can't afford this kind of stuff. And when they do this to themselves, that puts the squeeze on channels like me and you, and Hard Bastard, and H.A. Goodman, and Anthony Brian Logan. It makes it tougher for them, because now they're trying to carry even more of the load for YouTube than they had in the past. and they're mainly demonetized. So when are they going to get kicked off YouTube? Because YouTube's not making any money off of them. Why should they keep them around? Why should they keep me around? I've expected my first channel to be deleted several times. I have gotten copyright strikes from, of all people, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation because of my You Can't Ask That videos. Please look at them. They're very good, I believe. I think I did an outstanding job on them, if I may say so. And they've been very popular. One of them has close to 113,000 views, if you count the 93,000 views before it got taken down due to a copyright strike by ABC. And then when I brought it back up after trimming it to get rid of the content, which was their opening sequence, they gave me a copyright strike because I used their opening sequence in the video. I trimmed that out so you didn't know who it was, and they were okay with it. How do you manage that? So anyway, after I trimmed it and re-uploaded it, I got another 14,000 views. So it's actually closer to 117,000. So yeah, check them out. You Can't Ask That. It's on the AHNC All Hat No Cattle channel. The link for that is in the description. So anyway, YouTube's going crazy because they can. They're only doing this because they can. This doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. This isn't helping YouTube. This isn't helping society. These channels are popular, and they're meant to be seen. Non-gun people watch them too because they're entertaining, and they learn a little something. Remember, most, if not all, people who say, well, I believe in sensible gun control, they know nothing about guns. Absolutely nothing about guns. I have taught several hardcore liberals how to shoot, and I've got one more coming up. These are dyed-in-the-wool Bernie supporters, but they voted for Hillary because Bernie was gone. Even though Hillary shafted Bernie, they're hardcore Democrats, so they voted for Hillary. And they're shooting with me. I have trained them how to use firearms. And they love it. They absolutely love it. They're coming back for more. Does this mean they're not Democrats anymore? No, of course not. But they now know what happens when someone says something stupid about firearms. And these channels serve that purpose a millionfold over what I'm doing. By getting people out there, by doing these videos, and by showing them what it means to be a responsible gun owner and what firearms actually do. All right, I'm off my soapbox. I want to thank everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to put up the end title sign now. Please read it. Basically, what I'm asking you to do is like this video before you leave and subscribe to the channel if you so desire. It would help a lot. I'm not making any money off these videos, so I'm not asking you for cash. I do have a maker support page, but nothing's happening with that. If you go there, great. If you don't, great, whatever. But just check that out. Like I say, like and subscribe on your way out, and that's it. So thank you for coming, and as always, be well.